Well, I can't say that this month was a long time coming, but at the same time, I really think that me doing a month dedicated to Weird Bad Bells is just basically the same thing as I've been doing with My Little Pony, except that this is probably going to be the only month I'm going to be dedicated to a cartoon like this, depending on what I feel afterwards. But considering that I've reviewed all the episodes from Friendship is Magic and nearly all those videos didn't get much attention, I guess me just probably doing this for one time only is probably literally the only way for everyone to be mostly occupied. I'm just gonna say this right now. From now on, whenever I do a month similar to this, it's only gonna be one time only. It isn't gonna be like My Little Pony again all over again when I do multiple months. It's just gonna be 1 month dedicated to a cartoon while reviewing most of the episodes as I can, and that will be it. Granted, some people of you might be able to be interested to do another month again similar to this, but at the same time, I'm gonna have Patreon to do most of the work depending on how many Patreons I get. But at the same time, it's still gonna take me time in order to get more Patreons for me to do months similar to this. But anyway, let's talk about the first episode I'm gonna be reviewing as part of We Bear Bells month, Chloe. Chloe sneaked inside the Bells house so that she can do her college project involving what bears are like. But apparently, she instantly got surrounded by the 3 bears after Grizz and Panda went shopping. At first, they thought that she was an intruder, but apparently she wasn't. Then again, I've already mentioned what Chloe is trying to do in this episode, and considering that this is her first introduction, I can say that she has the best development when it comes to introductions. Through the majority of this episode where the bears do their daily thing, Chloe does more research by investigating what the bears do. Usually when someone sees a real bear in real life that doesn't do these kinds of things, it will probably be a lot more predictable. But since this is one of the first episodes from the show, and the fact that this is supposed to be an introduction of Grizz, Panda, and Ice Bear, I'm pretty sure that they wanted to make the show a lot more different compared to other shows that were airing during that time in 2015. Anyway, through the majority of the montage of the Bears and Chloe bonding, you would think that she actually succeeds on making friends, but apparently that will be a lot more too basic when it comes to the development of this relationship. Apparently, her whole plan was, like I said earlier, doing some research on the 3 bears in nature. Not really about what they do, just about how bears live in nature. The 3 looked in her article or screen show of what they usually do, and they were really not happy about it whatsoever because they think that she was just trying to mess with them and embarrass them in her college. But then when Chloe forgot to take her laptop with her, the bears come up with a disastrous plan by completely getting her back. Because let's just be real, considering of how much these bears are getting so much stress and so much disrespect outside of public, you can tell that they will probably go out for vengeance whenever they see stuff like this. As they gave Chloe back her laptop, she shows it in front of everyone, and apparently, like I said, they completely changed it, and it's probably one of the best comedy I've ever seen from this show. And this is something that happened earlier in the first season. Not only is this really hilarious to actually see of how much editing craziness that the Bears did, it also shows that they're actually speaking the truth, even though that really wasn't the case for anyone in college who have an open mind that Bears would easily do any of this kind of stuff. After watching all the episodes along with the movie, this episode has really aged so much after everything that we've seen after this episode. Considering that the people in college just doesn't understand what bears usually live, namely Grizz, Panda, and Ice Bear, and the fact that they're literally the 3 bears that are wandering around San Francisco, this is the type of information that you won't usually expect when it comes to this type of world building. But just by watching everything from the show, even though that there could have been more execution, I can still think that they really did a good job on making these episodes aged a lot more better than dated. And what makes this even more better is that it actually gave Chloe more development, even if it was from the first season. Tell me about it. It is mostly a shame that we don't get to see these characters again, but considering that Chloe had the most episode appearances out of any other supporting character in this show, I can understand why people consider her as the favorite in this. For me personally, even if she isn't one of my favorites, she is so brilliant developed that I really think that the show would have been a lot more better if it actually continued so that we can actually see more of Chloe. Granted, it's mostly her just hanging out with the Bales and just her going through so much shenanigans, like from her family, along with other situations that she's into with the Bales. But on the other hand, just by watching this episode, and the fact that this is the episode that started off her development with the Bales, I'm mostly ashamed that we don't get to see a lot more since that this show came to an end. Granted, not every show can go on forever, but for a possible 5th season, there could have been potential ideals that we could see from Chloe herself. Granted, I did state that I was planning on making a video of possible season 5 ideals, but at the same time, people have already moved on after the movie came out last year, so at this point, I really need to accept what I have from this show. But since that we've started off with this month of this episode, there's going to be a lot of discussions on what I feel about the other characters, but we're going to get to that as this month continues. As for the ending of this episode, the Bales took off their disguises and show off their true colors, that they're the ones that wrote Chloe's report. And this actually caught everyone else's interest, that they actually speak the truth. To be quite honest, since this is a time where the Bales can only go through limited places when they're mostly accepted, going to Chloe's college probably had a lot of potential ideals, and believe me, there are like 2 or 3 episodes that the Bales go to college with Chloe in order to cheer her on. And considering that there's not a single episode where the Bales actually get themselves into situations in Chloe's college like they did in other places in San Francisco, it's probably mostly unknown of how the other characters, mainly Chloe's friends, react to 3 Bales acting normally in their surroundings. It honestly feels like it's a reverse We Bear Bales situation where the humans are Bales while the 3 Bales are human. A really odd vice versa, yes, but at the same time, the more I watch these episodes again after binge watching the whole series, the more I can actually see a lot of potential, while also seeing a lot more interesting ideas that I haven't seen the first time around. And as for the ending, well, Chloe actually gets an A+, it's actually a sweet ending, and this is where we get to see Chloe and the Bales bonding with each other for real, not for research purposes. This episode is very good, probably one of the best episodes from the first season. But then again, we've all started, and this isn't a marathon, this is a month, which means that I have to cut so many episodes down in order to reveal the ones that are mostly important. With 1 episode down, there are plenty, or shall I say, several more to go until we get to the following month's schedule. As much as people may not enjoy this month as I hoped, I'm still going to continue on with this month by reviewing episodes involving the 3 Bales that we all remembered before Cartoon Network, just become a kids network. Yes, I completely did the research on Cartoon Network being a toddler's network from other YouTube videos, and I would say how ashamed that is, but at the same time, we got HBO Max, so we might be fine, even if Cartoon Network won't be the same again. I give this episode an 8 out of 10.
let's get this started again. Me and my whole crew.